Shalom. Israel. To the hopeful elect Israel. You Hebrew Israelites. Negroes, Latinos, Native American, West Indian, and Haitians. And the foreign Israelites that are scattered across the four corners of the earth. They look like the other nations. I want to give all praises to Barak Yahawah. Barak Yahawashi. Barak Yahawah. Barak Yahawashi. Praises to Yahawah, Bahasham, and Yahawashi. Bahasham, Qadash. I want to give double honors to the elders and apostles, the great millstone, led me to this truth, ordained by the Lord to teach the free fast and show forth the Lord's righteousness, mercy, and judgment. And wrath. Lord willing, will be part of that number. Lord willing, this be edifying to those who fear in the name of the Lord and strive and show this every day to the best of their abilities. The judgment always comes to light, and it's not slack. 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 9. So today, the Lord put the Spirit on me to deal with a couple precepts and do some schools. Lord willing, this is edifying to the flock. And tomorrow, Lord willing, I had to talk, and I'm going to do some extra camps concerning 2nd Esdras chapter 11, because I'd like to have it for the end of the week. So Lord willing, I'm able to do that, and just to stay occupied in prophecy. So Lord willing, this is edifying to the flock. And go ahead and get started. All right, and the titles that the Lord want me to deal with today is Egypt on the way to BRICS membership, and U.S. and Russia open armed conflict. So how we know Egypt is already getting involved is because March 20 says Egypt becomes a member of the BRICS New Development Bank. So they're already in on the bank. Okay. They had an agreement signed at the 6 BRICS Summit, Della, in 2014. So they've already been planning on joining BRICS for a long time, but they're just about ready. I don't want to read too much into it. So we're going to go right here and read into some of this. It says Egypt is on the way to BRICS membership, and this yesterday. So it says the issue of Egypt's membership in the BRICS is an important, urgent matter, writes Cairo newspaper. Al Masrai Al Young. BRICS is a group created in 2019 that includes, or 2009, Salakia, China, Russia, India, Brazil, and South Africa. It also includes Saudi Arabia and Iran, and 25. It's a total of 25 nations at the time, and this would be the 26 coming into this alliance. BRICS group, or it says the BRICS countries represent 42% of the world's population as of now, but it's going to increase. As Obadiah chapter 1 verse 7, the nations deceive America, Babylon the Great, continue to progress throughout this year. And Lord willing, this prophecy comes to pass, and all the other prophecies that need to come to pass for to be executed. Shalom. So that's what we're hoping, that BRICS nation is established, by next March, because March is the beginning of our year, and we hope that Passover will be our last here. We can get the fuck out of here. So Anyways, like it says, represents 42% of the world's population as of now, but that's going to increase as other nations join in. 24% of the global GDP. So if they can get that number risen to really drop living standards and everything here, but that'll just be for 2/3 because, the hopeful elect, we already are in a position of at the lowest of the earth because we're not giving in to Esau Edom's customs. We're not we're not changing ourselves to be, so we're considered at the bottom. Nobody wants to deal with us in the way of us having riches or any kind of profit. They want to make the max amount on us and pay us the least. So we hold part of that number. So, they account for 6% of the world's exports and 15% of the world's goods and services. So that's more, just looking at that, that's more than 1/3 of everything that moves in the earth. And if that increases, then what? Then it's going to be less. Like it says, the talk of Egypt's BRICS membership is not new, but it hasn't been established, and it's on its way, finally, after all this time. So once all these other nations start, the BRICS nations, and we'll deal with some precepts in a second, the success of BRICS would hurt U.S. living standards and diminish America's global standing. So this is like basically, what's going to happen as the BRICS starts to become a success, which it will, according to prophecy. So let's just read this. Veteran investor John Wolfenbarger says the success of BRICS would have serious effects on the U.S. dollar and the living standards of Americans. And see, the Americans, the America Babylon, they don't believe that it's going to be successful. But like we said, according to prophecy, it's successful than what they believe. So it says Wolfenbarger, a former investment banker at Morgan, and Alanaz writes a new article for the Mises Institute that throughout history, all empires have altered, and the U.S. likely won't be an exception. So they know history, they know how, and they know this place is built off Rome. This is the revived Roman Empire. That's how they know this place won't be an exception to fail. He says that the BRICS nations, which refers to the economic coalition of Brazil, Russia, China, India, and South Africa, or Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, now have the power to dethrone the U.S. after decades of irresponsible economic policy by the American government. And why do they have irresponsible economic decisions? Was because the Lord shot them with an arrow and wounded them and started taking their knowledge away, their understanding away of how to rule the nations with violence. And economic hitman kind of strategies that they've got. They're trying to basically be just like Sodom and Gomorrah. That's why this place is spiritually Sodom and Egypt. They're allowing same-sex marriage and all these other things, and also child pedophilia, all these things that are abominations to the Lord, and it's weakening them. And that's why I say by the time people come, they're gonna be like women. They're gonna be some little females. Okay, they're not gonna be ready to handle none of that shit and get took out. So we're gonna go right here, and then we're gonna do a couple precepts. Well, I think I got this one that I want to tie into it. The U.S. banking turmoil now bigger than 2008 financial crisis, but the storm hasn't hit yet. What's that storm? The storm is Yahawashi. He's right up in it. You know, he's prepping this place to fall. And that's why they're making all this stuff and saying that it's the worst time of history for this place. And it is. So this guy, he says that this is already larger than the turmoil witnessed 15 years ago and is far from over. Just like we read yesterday, its bank says it hit a negative 50% or hit 50%. They done dropped 50% in their you know, and that's because all these other nations are seeing this place is going down. You know, like we live here at the bottom of the earth and we're prophesying it, and you know, we know it's falling. So best believe nations, they know that they're falling. They know. You know, and that's why I said that in, you know, the king, the Pharaoh heard the report of them, which was us, the apostles of Great Millstone, on down to the followers who cling to the body like me, that are saying y'all going into slavery for what y'all did. And said pangs took hold of them like a woman in travail. Like they're sick in the head for that. And they should be, because it's coming. So now we got Deputy Foreign Minister. He said U.S. and Russia on the verge of open armed conflict. And that's what's coming. And all the other nations are going to aid Russia and take this place out. You know, it's going to be a conflict right after this Ukraine war and the war of China and Taiwan. It's going to come here. You know, that's what we're hoping. After these little proxy wars happen and everything, it's going to be war and famine, and it's going to be pestilence. It's going to be, you know, race riots. It's going to be civil war. But you know, we protected in that time from those said perils. Because he said he will behold us in six troubles, deliver us in six troubles. In the seventh, he said nothing is going to touch us. Nothing. So we don't got nothing to worry about as we keep trusting in Yahawashi. You know, even the ones of us who have to strive till death, we don't got nothing to worry about. Why? Because in the end, it's all for our good. It's for the kingdom's sake. It's for Yahawah's sake. So this is some precepts I want to get into before I get to the next article. And this is we're going to go starting. You know, this is just to show that this prophecy is on the verge every day. You know, I like bringing it back up because, you know, not everybody watches the same videos. So it's good. You know, be repetitive so you can see the gradual progression prophecies playing out every day. He's setting it up. You know, he's a master chess player. You know, he's putting his pawns into place. He's moving all the pieces that he needs before he says, all right, go. But he can't bring it to play until, you know, he's designed his time where his elect are sealed and they're ready to go this. So Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 4, and it reads, and I will turn thee back, talking about Russia, which is Persia in the Bible, and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth, and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Persia, they put them first because those are the ones everybody's getting hard unto, which is modern day Russia, which is basically in the Bible Magog. And Gog is Iran. That's why Iran is given. You know, but there's prophecies against Gog and Magog as well. What they have done to the apple of the Lord's eye. From Persia, Ethiopia, Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet. So this is verse 6. Gomer and all his bands the house of Tobamar of the north quarters, and all his band, many people with thee. There's gonna be some nations even there, like, what kind of nation is that? Russia gonna be like, yep, they with us. Gonna be nations we probably ain't even never heard of that's gonna be with them. Because they've been waiting to take this place down because of what they've done to these other nations. Verse 7. Be thou prepared and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. After many days thou shalt be visited years, which is the end years, which is right now. Thou shalt come into the land that is brought back sword and is gathered out of many people against the mountains of Israel, which is talking about coming against 2/3 in this place, because 2/3 is basically they've came together with America, always been waste, and it really is talking about 2/3 and also the land of Israel. You know what I'm saying? Because it's always because those heathens that's over there right now is in our land. So the Lord's coming up against 2/3 and all the 17 other nation heathens, especially the ones in Israel, which is Amalek. Okay, the first descendants Esau and Edom, so-called white nations. So which have always been waste because we've been cast out of there, but it's brought forth out of the nations, and they shall dwell safely, all of them. Then thou shalt ascend like a storm, and thou shalt like a cloud to cover the land, thou and all thy bands and many people with thee to come take over this place. So, I don't want to go too far because I want to put in a couple other things before we read the rest of it. So Ezekiel chapter 28, verse 7. And, what it means by they're going to dwell safely is that here, and they're going to tear shit up. They're going to make it down here, and it's going to be a war. We're talking about half of the earth against the other half of the earth. The east versus the west is what's coming, And then you got Esau versus Jacob. It's going to be a whole bunch of things happening at once, But the elect will dwell safely in that time, whomever they may be, And then everybody else is going to be battling for land that's not even there. So Ezekiel chapter 28, verse 7. Behold, therefore, I will bring strangers upon thee, the terror of the nations, and they shall draw their swords against the beauty of thy wisdom, and they shall defile thy brightness. And, one thing that to find is the Lord is using these things to destroy the wicked. So that's why he said to remove wicked, all the wickedness out of us. That doesn't mean that we're not going to still go off. We still go off. That doesn't make you wicked. That just means that you transgress the law and you got to, fight that battle because, we have erred from our ways, caused us to err from our ways because we didn't listen. So those who endure and keep fighting that good fight of faith, not letting them weigh them down, are the ones who are going to get out of here. And we hope to be part of that number. Only can put the spirit on us to be able to make it through it. So Ezekiel chapter 30, verse 11, and it reads, and his people with him, the terrible nations, shall be brought to destroy the land. And they shall draw their swords against Egypt, which is here, and with the slain. But the ones with the marks on their foreheads, Ezekiel 9 chapter 4, they're not gonna get touched. It doesn't mean we're not gonna go through stuff. We're gonna go through stuff, but in the end of it all, you're gonna see that we didn't get. We got to build our faith enough to when that time comes, the Lord's able to instill us with the rest of the faith that we need through that time. So Revelations 18:13. 18 verse. Yeah, but let me see. Gotta go back one. Go back a couple because there's a point I want to bring. Okay. So yeah, so basically after all, and they send 200 million intercontinental ballistic missiles over here and destroy this place. This is what they're going to be doing. This is chapter 18, verse 11. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her. when no man buys her. See, it talks about the merchandise of gold and silver, precious stones, and the pearls, and the purple and silk and scarlet, and all thine wood, because we know that they chop down trees over all the time, and all the manner of ivory and manner of vessels of precious wood and brass and iron and marble and cinnamon ornaments and frankincense and wine and oil and fine flour and wheat and beasts and sheep and horses and chariots and souls of men. And those slaves that are going to get destroyed is the 2/3, because they're going to be Edom at that time, because they're going to take that seed. Verse 14, and it reads, and the fruits that they sold, that thou lusted after, are departed from thee, and all things which are dainty and goodly are departed from thee, and thou shalt find them at all. And that's why we want to, separate from this place so we won't be caught up. And so now we're going to do Revelations chapter 14, verse. And it says, and another angel came from the altar, which had power over fire, and cried with a loud cry to him that had the sharp sickle, saying, thrust in thy sharp sickle, and gather the clusters of the vine in the earth, for grapes are fully ripe. And that's what he's doing. He's gathering 2/3 to destroy, and he's gathering, to be delivered. We hope to be part of that number. But this is mainly talking about the ones that are going to get destroyed. And after all that happens, well, first, Revelations 13:16 has to happen, when they cause all small and great, rich and poor, to take the Quran, which is the sea hip, the mechanism that you use to scan it and scan into your car, and they got people doing that right now. And you wouldn't believe some of our own people still don't know. Like I seen in camp, I was at camp 2 days ago, and 2 Gadites, they walked past, and I showed them the board, and they was like, "Yep, that's us right there." I was like, "Look, you need to repent and convert, man. This is, I showed them everything, broke it to them, and showed them about the MOTD, and they was like, "Really, that's happening?" Like, that's how lost our people are out here. They really don't think now, And then when you really tell them, they kind of look like, So Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 10, it says, thus saith the Lord, power, Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, it shall come to pass that at the same time shall things come into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought. And that's what they're going to do at all this. They're going to come defile this place, take all the spoils, do everything, and then the Lord's going to give them an evil thought after that. And then while that's going on, it's going to be Jacob's trouble, it's going to be mass chaos, it's going to be all types of things. And then the Lord's going to put the evil spirit on those other nations, and they're going to shoot all those intercontinental ballistic missiles over here that they've been coming up with a way to buy. So the Lord's got them getting it ready. Joel chapter 3, verse 10, beat thy plowshares and swords. And those swords are intercontinental ballistic missiles. So, now we're going to move on to the next topic. Get some here. And also, there's another Salakia had a lot of interference for a second, but when you look at right here, so there was 2 iron, like been taking a bunch of oil tankers, okay, from America, Babylon the Great. They've seized 2 of them in the last week, and this is what's going to kind of put in more animosity and things. Chapter 14, which is talking about the second woe is past, and the third woe has come quickly, which is World War III. And so now they're getting intercepted so much oil, America, Babylon the Great is now talking about putting this thing right here. Get out of here. Okay. Anyways, things. That's a robot. Okay. That thing over there on the right. You know, and it says U.S. robots at sea in Middle East to combat Iran. So they're going to put these bots out here, and they're going to be signaling when they try to come take these oil tankers. You know, and it's just gonna cause. And they probably that's probably the reason why they let them take them oil tankers, because usually America will fight something like that, but sometimes people take stuff to be able to gain more control. You know, to put more control and more have a reason to put a military. So that's how America is. They're always like that. So this is something that's just showing that it's about to get more hectic. There's going to be a lot of bots and stuff everywhere and all types of stuff. They're talking about, you know, putting bots in New York City next month. So it's just that they're coming up with reasons to why they want to let out this huge satanic force, you know. But it's all the Lord, you know, making them do it. So, you know, that's just also part of those precepts that I had. But with deadly earthquake, okay, in Japan. Jacked up. Let's see what it talks about. That's yeah. This is it. It's lucky. It's got an infomercial. Oh, that's Indonesia. So that's not even talking about Japan. So we're gonna keep going down because one person was killed, at least 20 others were injured following strong earthquake. Strong earthquake that struck central portions of Japan on Friday afternoon local time. In the wake of Timber, AccuWeather meteorologists say heavy rainfall this weekend could add to further hardships. And the owner is beginning early stages of cleanup process. The magnitude 6.2 earthquake struck off the west coast of Japan's main island of Honshu, according to the United States Geological Survey. The earthquake was rated slight magnitude of 6.5. So that was just, you know, more earthquakes to show that the Lord is shaking his and it's causing turmoil through these machines that Esau Edom has made, you know, backed up everywhere, you know. I don't want to get too far into it, you know, just to kind of stay updated with what the Lord's doing in the earth. And while that's going on, he's got people waxing worse and worse, and he's got these vessels of vengeance, all types of, you know, turmoil on people, you know, for one in the past or this time. So it says 8 dead after car runs into pedestrians in Brownsville, Texas. And so he just drove his car right off the road to some people. Like, you know, that's definitely vessels of vengeance right there.
There's new information overnight about the deadly crash at the Mexico border. A vehicle plowed into a crowd of people at a bus stop near a shelter for migrants, and now an 8th victim has died. It comes just days before a U.S. border policy, which took effect during the pandemic, expires. ABC's Lindsay with the latest on that. Lindsay, good morning.
Good morning, Rhiannon. Brownsville, Texas is just one city facing a surge of migrants as that COVID-era border policy expires this week. And now this heartbreaking tragedy. This morning, candles and flowers marked the spot SUV hit and killed 8 people at a bus stop in Brownsville, Texas. Authorities investigate whether the crash was an accident or...
Look at that. Like, they was just standing out there on the street. The Lord just put the spirit on that man. They ran through those people, man. That's why you don't want to play around with Yahawashi now. Shot. The bloody scene. Okay, that's what it looked like after he hit 8 people. Man. Bad, man. So right here, you know, and that's why we always thankful every day. Yahawah says, breathe another day and just to exalt his name. You know, you could be worse. You could be a chocolate covered Edomite and nobody like you in the whole world because our people don't like you because you're Edomite. Edom don't like you because you look like Jake, but you're not Jake. You wake up going to slavery. So, you know, we're blessed on this side to go through these struggles. So a gold mine fire in Peru kills 27 countries worst in 2 decades. So, you know, that's also a couple other things that's showing you like I'll fall at thy right side, and you know, let me pull it up so I won't butcher it because that's a good one. And then we're gonna pull up a couple sets. All these people falling around us. Jake still don't want to consider, you know, 2/3 of our people. So lock in. All right. So Psalms chapter 91 verse thy side and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. So as we sit and we with all this death around us, the Lord allows us to still live and not have to deal with that kind of stuff. And of course, some of us deal with certain things, you know, based off of, you know, where we're at and what we've done in the past, and, you know, but that's all part of the test to see if we believe Yahawah should deliver us through the times that we were not wise, you know, and to keep that faith. So 21 verse 11, and it reads, and great earthquakes shall be in diverse places, and famines and pestilences and fearful sights of lines shall be from heaven. You know, and that's, you know, dealing with the blood moons, dealing with the northern lights in places that it's not normally at, tornadoes, just all types of stuff. Is just to show like, you know, we're near the end. You know, and people just think that they just coincidences or, you know, how much death that the Lord has done to the earth, you know, but it says that the Edomites, they don't fear blood. They don't even quench at blood because they're demons. That's why they be eating bloody steaks and stuff. So they don't think it's a big, their houses get ravished and pillaged by these other nations. So it reads, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be earthquakes and diverse, and there shall be famines and troubles. These are the beginning of sorrows. This is the beginning of sorrows for the other nations and 2/3 of Jacob, because 1/3 of us, we've already been going through sorrows. We got into go through sorrows, so later on we are saved out of going through trouble. You know, and that's the whole point. You know, if you're saying that you know, you love the Lord, you got to be prepared for that. You know, and that's what a lot of our people don't want to deal with, because they don't want to go through suffering. Matthew chapter 20 verse 4 verse 7, and the reads, for nation shall nation, kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. So the Lord made sure that there wasn't going to be no excuse for those people who didn't want to come to this doctrine and come to the truth, because he warned them places. You know, it was also right here talking about at least 22 dead after tourist sizes in India. You know, Lord is judging the earth swiftly. Okay, so now we're going to get over here, and this is something that, you know, is not very common that I've seen. It talks about Amazon with books entirely written by AI. So it says books almost entirely generated by AI are flooding the marketplace. As the Washington Post reports, a trend turning into a huge headache for human authors. So this is them already that jobs, taking away more jobs. Because now people don't need authors. They're like, well, stuff, we can just make AI and sell it on ourselves. So now, that's just messing up the whole thing for writers and stuff, but it don't matter. We don't care about book writers anyways. We ain't reading nothing but the Bible and Apocrypha anyways. But it's just to kind of show the division that's happening to this place. And it's doing all this because they know that they're going to ship off most people to World War III. Most people are going to die of famine. Okay? And they're trying to get rid of Jake anyways. They've been trying to get rid of us through the food and chemtrails and water. And they realize, because it says that we shall eat poison and not even mess us up. So, and some of us, maybe it does mess with us a little bit, but it doesn't kill us. So they're like, man, we gotta take it to the next level, which was that juice box. And then, big group of us still didn't take that. So they like, man, we just gotta start getting these bots ready. Okay, to take everybody out, and come up with some reason why they should be gone, just like they always do. So that's a little bit of what's happening with that. And then also, while they're doing that, says OpenAI and Figure, which is like another company, developed terrifying, creepy humanoid robots for the workplace. So let's watch a little bit of this. Bear with me.
This mistake is costing Amazon.
Well, folks, we're one step artificial intelligence becoming self-aware. I'm for the Cyber Guy, and if you want to stay up to date with all the latest and sometimes terrifying tech, head over to cyberguy.com and sign up for my free newsletter. By now, you've likely heard of ChatGPT. It has taken the world by storm for instant human-like reasoning.
It's a lot, yeah.
Heard of ChatGPT. It has taken the world by storm for its intelligence and human-like reasoning. It also has comparisons to disastrous sci-fi movies. Now the folks at OpenAI have cooked up a new project that's as fascinating as it is unnerving. And it's all about teaching robots to learn complex tasks just by watching us humans do our thing. With robotics company Figure, OpenAI designed a neural network that enables a robot to analyze motion capture data. Systems record how we move and turn that information into digital data for the bots to mimic. The robots are then capable of moving like a pretty creepy.
See that? It's literally gonna watch everything we do and everything we say and everything we like, just people, and it's gonna mimic that. And then on top of that, it can transfer that data to another AI bot, so they got unlimited knowledge on how humans act. And what is going to happen when they find out that most of humans out here is demons? What they going to act like? They're going to act like some fucking demons. Okay? This is going to end horribly wrong.
Right? But don't worry, it's not all about robots taking over the world yet. This groundbreaking tech could revolutionize industries like health, construction, and many more. Unfortunately, as these robots get smarter and more capable, it does raise concern about security and the ethical implications of such advanced AI bots. For now, I plan to treat these bots really nicely just in case. For more on the latest AI updates, visit Cyber.
Don't matter if you treat that thing nicely, it's a fucking bot. Don't care about that. It's going to analyze what it's supposed to do, and then once it figures out it don't need your ass, it's going to get rid of your ass. Hey, they're going to think like Esau Edom. They're going to be wicked, okay? That's what's going to come down to. So, I want to put in some precepts dealing with this couple you know, articles. Also with all the death that was going on. Jeremiah, this is one that I like to use a lot because it's just something that we got to keep in mind. This is coming. It's how we prepare our mind by reading it, reading these same precepts and keep ourselves ready. Other precepts as well, but you know, this is concerning this. So Jeremiah 16:4, they shall die of grievous deaths, like the people that's over there that got hit by that bus. They shall not be lamented, neither shall they be buried, but they shall be as dung upon the earth, and they shall be consumed by the sword and by famine, and their carcasses shall be the meat, shall be meat for the fowls of heaven, for the beasts of. And that's what's coming, and it's because Proverbs chapter 15, verse 10, and it reads, correction is grievous to him that have forsaken the ways of Bahasham Yahawashi. You know, the 17 nations, they don't even know the ways of Bahasham Yahawashi. They can't. They were not given to them. But 2/3 of our people, you know, they have forsaken that way. And I promise you, one of them people out there was sitting on that bus that got took out. One of them was Jake. It might not look like they was Jake, but the Lord knew who they had that happen to judge that person. So correction is grievous to him that forsaketh the way, and he that hateth reproof shall die. And that's why, you know, especially a brother like me, so new in the truth, I'm always one that's like, hey, if I'm doing wrong, you know, I want one of the brothers to put me out openly, okay, like they did last time, and say, hey, he's doing this, he's going off, okay, he's repenting and change his ways, okay, like that's how I am. But you know, that's just me. You know, I can only speak for myself. I want to make sure that I'm in order and I'm doing things right, and you know, I'll make sure that, you know, I'm edifying the flock correctly, because people don't understand how serious this is. You know, we have people's lives in our hands, and their blood is going to be held accountable if we don't put our all in. And that's why when it comes down to it, it's hard sometimes to deal with, you know, people if they claim to come into this truth and they claim they love the Lord, and they claim to, you know, they might study and might do everything and know the doctrine or, you know, whatever. When it comes down to it, it has to be some action formed after that. Like, you know, this isn't like something that, oh, you can just do it when you want to. This is a commandment to do videos for the flock, to come and edify the flock, and to come and edify yourself, check yourself, flock. That's our job. That's what we're supposed to do, you know? And that's what we're here to do. We're here to wake up the elect. We're here to come and wake them up. And if we're not wake them up, but shed light on them for the Lord to wake them up, you know? And if we're not doing that, then what does that mean? That means we don't really love the Lord, because he told Simon Peter to feed my flock 3 times. And if you still ain't done it, and you coming up with all these reasons not to do it, then the Lord's not going to accept that. He's not going to accept that. There is no excuse. Just like when you got a job, if you say, "Oh, well, something happened, I got in a car wreck," they don't. All they care about is if you're going to do the job. You can't say you had a turmoil situation every time. They might let you slide 1 or 2 times, but you do it too many times, they're going to fire you. So how much more for the Lord's spiritual army? Like they expecting us to take what they've given us, which is this truth, and apply it to our daily lives and show that we're doing something with it. If you're not doing that, then you're basically just a hypocrite. You're just saying that you love the Lord, but you still sitting here thinking about it. What is there to think about? You need to take judgment and execute. If you're not doing that, then you just fooling yourself, man. You know, you need to be executed on a regular basis. Okay, we got the best teachers on the planet. There's no excuses, man. You know, and that's not anybody who's listening. You know, the water for tuning in. You know, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Qadash, Barak, Atham, talking about to the people who come across in the future, and maybe they might be dealing with that. You know, and it's to kind of tell them, like, check yourself, man. Don't be slothful in the work. Ezekiel 14:21, for thus saith the Lord power, how much more will I send my four judgments upon Jerusalem with us. Wherever we're at is where Jerusalem is, because we're not in Jerusalem no more, which is Jerusalem in Paleo Hebrew. We're not in there anymore. You know, we're out here. So anywhere we are, this is what he's sending. The sword and the famine and the noise and the pestilence to cut it off from man and beast. See? And what and who's holding those four sword judgments? Revelations. Salakia. These are the ones holding the four sword judgments. How much more I gotta send it before Jake wake up? And he only knows, you know, about the elect of Jake. Okay, because 2/3 is not waking up. That's why I said don't even worry about them. We trying to wake up to Jake that's on the 1/3. Okay, wake them up so we can seal them so we can go home. That's the mission. If we're videos to wake them up, then what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, you're a soldier not even picking up your gun. Okay, this is our gun. This is our weapon. Revelation chapter 7 verse 1. And after these things, I saw four angels standing on the earth, holding the four winds of the earth. What's those four winds? Those four sword judgments, that the wind should not blow on nor the sea, nor on any tree. And after I saw another angel ascending from the east, seal of the living power, which is Yahawah, Bahasham, Rawchaa. He cried with a loud voice to the four angels, who's given to hurt the earth and the sea, with the fourth of sword judgments, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees. He have sealed the servants of our power in their foreheads. So we're talking about Ezekiel 9 chapter 4. And they haven't let it out yet. People think that this is part of those winds getting let out. They ain't let them out yet. He's judging people. But those four winds are not being unleashed yet. They will be unleashed. All of us are sealed. So for this to pass, we have to do what? We have to do our job and fulfill the prophecy. Well, we're crying day and night. We're seeking out this man's wickedness till the end. Okay, we're supposed to be seeking out this devil's wickedness until we can't find no more, which is impossible. There's so much stuff that Esau Edom did that you know, like most of the stuff that we talk about Esau Edom did, that's literally like not even like a third of what he did, like not even a tenth of what he did. That's just the surface of the demonic stuff that Esau Edom is doing. Okay, that's why the Lord is angry as fuck. Okay, because we're seeing it on a scale where we can only see what we see through you know this unicorn, which is the internet. So 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 verse 3, and it reads, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there be a falling away first. And that's where we're at right now. We're still in that falling away state, because if we weren't, then Jacob's trouble would be initiated and everything, you know, would be going down, you know, which is the sea hit being initiated and being like there's a period of all the times, and this is a period, a time period of grace for us to see who is getting sealed. That's that grace period right now. Who's going to be sealed? So whenever I start off this next phase, which is the terrible day of the Lord, it's going to play out, and there ain't going to be no salvation at that time. It's going to be whoever was supposed to be put to death going to be put to death. Whoever's going to make it through is going to make it through, and it's going to be scarcely. So it says, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, you know, which is the son of the wicked, the so-called white man, that be put to death, along with the other 16 other nations, because they were never given the laws and statutes and commandments, and they never will. So this is Hebrews chapter 3, verse 12. I got just a little bit more, and then, you know, we're going to close out. So, you know, I maybe got about 10 more precepts I want to put in. So take heed, brethren, lest there be any of you an evil heart of unbelief in departing from the living power. And that's how a lot of people are. They start to gain unbelief because of the trials that are ahead of us, you know, and all the crazy stuff that's going on, and maybe, you know, some of us dealing with, you know, tough situations in our lives. But this is all to show that the Lord is giving us something to get out of. If you're not going through nothing, then what does that mean? That means the Lord probably not dealing with you, because he said anybody come to serve the Lord, the temptation. Prepare your soul to be tried in the fire. If you're not getting tried in the fire, then what that mean? Probably not really dealing with you then. You got to be going through something. So Hebrews 3:13, but exhort another one daily. See, we got to do this daily to the best of our abilities. You know, and we don't try to say the law is going to save you, but we want to follow it to the best of our abilities. We can make a video, edifying video for the flock every day. We should do that. You know, that's just, you know, it's our reasonable service. You know, Romans chapter 12, 1 and 2. So, but exhort another one daily. The call today, which is every day, lest any of you be hardened through the deceitfulness of sin. See, if you miss a day, he will pull you back into the world. Just one day, you know. And I'm not saying that it's going to be like that, but not everybody's faith is the same. So for us new brothers, you know, people like me, you know, we coming straight off the bench. We coming straight off out to be hustling for this faith. You know, we need to be, you know, diving in this thing. Because why? Because we brothers and apostles do it, and they've been doing it for 40 plus years. Why shouldn't we do it? We ain't even been doing it, not even 1% longer than, you know, compared to them. We've only been here for 1% of the time. We need to be going hard, okay? You know, waking up tired for this truth, you know? So Hebrews chapter 3, verse 14, it reads, for we are made partakers of the Mashiach. We hold the beginning of our confidence steadfast into the end. And that's supposed to be our confidence. But man, look how much the Lord blessed us into this truth. And it's so late. He didn't need us. He didn't need all great millstone doing stuff for him. So the Lord really had grace on us new brothers. You know, we really don't deserve nothing, man. Okay, in the way my eyes, we don't deserve it. You know, and he blessed us still with this. Out of all the billions of people on the earth, he said, I want you to wake up at the very end and do. You gonna do it? We're gonna see, you know, but he knows. So verse 15, while it is said today was, harden not your hearts in the provocation. For some, when they had heard, did, howbeit not all that came out of Egypt by Moses, because we're the same people back. And you know, who didn't want to listen last time ain't listening. By with whom was grieved 40 years. Who's that? You know, the children 40 years in the wilderness for their wickedness, for not turning back. Was it not with them that had sinned, whose carcasses fell in the wilderness, supposed to flee inequity? Because we don't want to perish like them. And to whom swear that they should not enter into his rest, but them that believe not. See, we don't want to be those people, man. We don't want to be those people that come into this rest and then leave. So we see that they could not enter because of unbelief. So if the Lord commands you to go to the highways and byways, he commands you to do certain things, and he commands you to Salakia, he commands you to do certain things, and you don't believe that, and you don't believe works. If you're not putting in no works, then that's showing you ultimately don't believe that that's not something expedient for you to do on a regular basis, you know? And that's kind of how I look at it. There's all types of scriptures that says you need to be occupied in prophecy, you know? And if you don't see it that's as something that's expedient, then hey, man, trouble is coming your way, because trouble is already here for the people who are dwelling in the truth. How much more for the people that's not? 2 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 3, but I fear by least any means, as the serpent beguiled Eve through his subtlety, mind should be corrupted for the simplicity that is in the Mashiach. And it is simple. Feed the flock, check yourself, don't be proud, you know, learn every day, keep watering your seed, feed other people. Don't be greedy. You know, sacrifice. You know, and I know this is definitely hard for the Judite women, the few sisters, because there's so much that shows that they shouldn't be trusted. So for the few ones, their fear is at a higher level. They're on a higher level. You know, the ones that are in the truth, because they're like, man, Lord, you really think somebody's gonna take me? As they're always saying, be careful of the so-called black women. But you know, when you think about it, the ones in the truth are black women anymore. They've repented and they're Judite women. Okay, and the Judite woman is going to be the one that's exalted above all the other women in the kingdom. So if you find one of those, man, tame her and take care of her, man, and guide her, because she's still going to need that guidance. But if you can guide her, the Lord put the Spirit on you, be able to guide her. Hey, man, you found the Lord gave you a treasure. Don't play with it, you know. And she's going to need you to be tough. She's going to need you to hold it down, you know, in all ways. That's what the woman is. They're a weaker vessel, you know. And when you know, you want to have for me, I just want to tell, you know, my mindset is, you know, since I'm in that situation, I'm going to look at it as, you know, like, she's going to need probably more than I need her, because I've already been out here taking care of myself most of the time. Okay, I've been without a woman most of the time. Giving me her to say, look, I need you to protect this. This is something special to me. I need you to protect this. Not saying that she's over the man, but the women are part of the elect. He chose women to get saved out of here. So they're special to me. Job to protect them, protect their minds. And how am I going to have a wife and then expect another man to teach her? I was just listening to Apostle about, you know, some things that I didn't know, you know, about how another man, you know, of course I know it's another man to plow, you know, another man's woman, which means to teach her. Not supposed to be like that, you know, because it messes up stuff, you know, and that's why we don't do that, you know. And it also says not to tell your woman everything, and they're right. You can't tell your woman everything, but I think what it means by that is don't give her the secret of all the doctrine that Yahawashi, you know, has taught you, because it might bug her. She's not meant to take in all that doctrine. You know, you just need to teach her what she needs to know. This is what you need to know. Don't worry. Hey, he told me what to do. I need you to listen to me. And if she trusts you, she's going to do that. So James chapter 12 said, blessed is the man that endureth temptation. How you going to endure temptation if you ain't going through nothing? Because you're going to go through temptation to fly. The Lord going to put you through some shit. Okay? Physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. He's going to put you through some shit. But when he shall receive the crown of life, which the Lord, Yahawashi, has promised to them that love him. And if you love Yahawah, what he tell Simon? What he tell Simon Peter? He said, feed my sheep. You ain't got no videos? Hey, man, you can't be trusted, okay? Period. I got videos, and most of you know, the elders and apostles of the great millstone and all them, I'm still vetted, you know? So there's no exceptions, man. You know, and that's just for the brothers who, you know, haven't been doing it. I ain't talking about the brothers that have been doing it. I'm talking about the ones that have been saying they're going to do it. You ain't done it. You need to get off that bull bigotry. You need to get your ass to work. Okay, this is not a fan club. We are here to serve you. How about shed light to the elect so we can get home? Because it's almost a way of disrespect. The Lord give you this truth. And he said, weapon and fight in the spirit. And you don't do it, that's going off, man. Gotta go to give you that spirit. But like I said, there's the AI stuff. And then also, this is talking about, it says, like, to the Dust Bowl, Oklahoma's farmers say wheat crop is worst in decades. So that's showing that the famine's coming. Okay. So I don't want to do too much into it. So we're going to read, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got 10 precepts left. I know y'all been staying here for a minute. The water for you know, bearing with me. I try not to be so long-winded, but you know, I try to have my lessons packed with precepts, so you can see the charity, because this is charity. You know, loving your people, man. We love y'all over here, man. I would say first and foremost myself. I love the Lord so much and love the flock so much in the brotherhood. You know, I was doing this for a minute. Nobody was listening to me, and that's cool. You know, I almost look at it like I'm talking to myself. If nobody's with me, you know, and then if the Lord loves me, you know, and the brotherhood loves me, eventually they show themselves, and they did. They started coming around saying Shalom, all types of stuff. So this just is like an encouragement to the newer brothers who just kind of scared to do videos. Just think about it like this: why you don't care about what these people anyways, other than the brotherhood? They gonna get blown up anyways. They ain't worried about what they think about, whatever. You think I'm stupid? Cool. You can get blown up thinking about that. I don't care. So 2nd Ezra chapter 7 verse 20, and it reads, "For there be many that perish in this life, because they despise the law of power that is set before him." What's those laws? Luke 14:23. Go to the highways and byways, feed his flock, yourself, exhort another one daily, love your neighbor as thyself. Those are the milk laws. You can't follow those, then you can't even get the deeper understanding of Sophia, which is wisdom. She's not going to give it to you because you don't even love the outer appearance of the body, you know, which is the way they do things in their order. Once you love that and you set yourself up there, then the Lord's going to increase you. You know, He's going to increase you. This is 2nd Ezra verse 15. "And I have said before, and now I do speak. I will speak it also hereafter. But there be many that which perish, than of them which shall be saved." And we know that only 1/3 of us is getting out. We hope to be part of that number. 2nd Ezra 12:21. The Lord was really dealing with Esdras, man. He was showing them some jewels. He was out there like, "Woe is me? Who is going to deliver me?" It's like it said in verse 6, in chapter 16. He was like, "Man, I got to come back here. I got to deal with that." That's why he was right. 2nd Ezra chapter 12 verse 21. "And 2 of them shall perish, the middle time approaching. 4 shall be kept until their end begin to approach, but 2 shall be kept until the end." You know, and so that's a big number out of it. Basically, you know, it's talking about the 1/3 and the 2/3. You know, and really this is let me make sure. Nope, this is not dealing with that. Salakia. This is talking about in that day. This is talking about the 3 heads of this is not talking about that. This is talking about the 3 heads of Rome that were part of the feathers who was ruling. So this is not talking about that. This is talking about feathers. So I don't want to get too much into that. That's a precept I pulled up, but that's not talking about that. So don't worry about that. That's going to be in the lesson that I got coming up. I don't want to. It's a lot to break down, but that's not talking about just any kind of perishing. Just to let that be known. So, because 2nd Ezra chapter 11 and verse 12 is talking about a different time. So Hosea, but it's gonna relate to this time. So Hosea chapter 4 verse 6, and it reads, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Thou hast rejected knowledge." And that's what they did. They reject knowledge because why? They reject correction and reproof. That's how you get in the truth and have you know, have knowledge without correction and reproof. We came here to get corrected and be set back in our rightful place, and we hope is to be part of the elect. So I will also reject thee, and thou shalt be to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy power, and also forget thy children. So that's why we want to make sure that we ultimately checking ourselves every day and making sure that, you know, we're coming in a spirit of, you know, repentance and meekness, you know, and humbleness, and saying, "Man, yeah, I messed up right there. The water for the correction. I'm gonna fix that." You know, having that godly sorrow, like, "Man, I messed up, man." You know, it's okay to mess up, man. Lord knows we're fucked up around here. Genesis chapter 47 verse 13. there was no bread in all the land. The famine was very sore in the land of Egypt, and all the land of Canaan fainted by reason of the famine. And that's what's done happen. You know, I just did a video the other day about Canaan. Canaan is basically the Ham's son, which is the Africans. Okay, so-called Africans. They out there got flooded out. Okay. And over here, the famine's coming, just like they said. This is the worst wheat season drought, and not let alone you got that plus all train derailments, plus oil tanks stolen, all types of stuff is going to add to this famine. It's the Lord moving in chess pieces. In Ezra chapter 16, verse 22, and it reads, "For many of them that dwell on the earth shall perish of famine, and the escape the hunger shall the sword destroy." So that's a scary thing, that literally be one who escaped the famine and then get killed by the sword. And that's gonna be that's gonna be a lot of them men who were slothful in the truth, trying to act like they could just take their time, and like they have to just, like they didn't have to put out that that earth of the sheep needs to be tended to, because you never know whose your videos might reach. You might be going through something. You might think, man, Lord willing, this is edifying to somebody, and somebody, it bring them into by you shedding that light that the Lord told you to shed. So this is Lamentations chapter 4, verse 9. Sorry, I'm a bad speller sometimes. I haven't dove into Lamentations a ton. Yeah. Okay. So Lamentations, verse 4 through. Bear with me, I'm just about done. Okay, Lamentation. And it reads, "They that be slain with the sword, they be slain with the sword are better than they that are slain with hunger. But these pine away, stricken through for want of the fruits." And you're gonna have some people in that time where they eating their own damn babies and shit. Okay, like this is why, make sure that we are focused on Yahawashi, because we do not want to be part of these people, and we do not want to be meals for these people. Okay, because the Lord knows, how focused we are on His will. Of course, there has to be a balance, but it's different for someone who's actually coming out here wanting to be a prophet and teach. We are accountable. Okay, we are punished more severely for taking this as a game. So Job chapter 5 verse 20, and it reads, "Famine, He shall redeem thee from death, and in the war from the power of the sword." So see, that's why we want to stay occupied in this prophecy and stay occupied in this truth more than anything, because He's going to deliver you from both things that was going to destroy people in Lamentation chapter 4 verse 9. That's what we want. We want to get out of here unscathed. So Isaiah 65:13. I go more precepts after that, and then I'm done. I went a little bit too long, Salakia. Isaiah 65:13, and it reads, "Therefore thus saith the Lord, Yahawashi power, behold, my servants shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servants shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed." It's talking to 2/3. They're going to be ashamed. "Behold, my servants shall sing for joy of heart." So what kind of spirit do you think the Lord put on us for in that time when everybody's getting eaten by babies and people getting blown up? We see Jake getting lynched. The Lord's going to give us joy of heart in that time. Why? Because we're going to feel that spiritual force still around us. We're going to feel it. We're going to be like, it's here. Like, I'm not afraid of nothing. That's the kind of spirit that we hope the Lord gives us. "But ye shall cry a sorrowful heart, talking about two-thirds station of spirit. That's why right now we're in the house of mourning right now. We're nervous and we're worried and we're breaking down. We're like, man, the Lord dealing with me. Because that's how it's supposed to be. We're supposed to be better in the house of mourning because those are the ones he's going to put that spirit on and say, yup, do what I say do. I got you. Proverbs 12:27, and it reads, the slothful man roasteth not that which he took in hunting, but the substance of a diligent man is precious. I want to read this also, and that's why we're supposed to remain diligent in this truth. I just wanted to bring that up. Just you got slothful men, that come into this truth and they be like, oh, well, I got to do this or this, and there ain't no excuses, man. There ain't no excuses. We have to serve Yahawashi Yahawashi first. It says the kingdom of heaven first. It don't say go, do whatever you want to do first and then do it. Let's do this. And like I said, it also talks about how you're gonna get a candle, how the Lord gonna give you the truth, and then you put it under a bush. It's got to be shown and displayed on a regular basis. So this is Proverbs chapter 12, verse 27, and it reads, lazy people don't even cook game they catch. See, they don't even cook the food. Then they'll kill the doggone thing, they'll left it in the refrigerator, and then they'll spoil it. And that's just like it could referring to this truth. They want to get this truth, they just put it in the shed, be like, yeah, I got the truth, I'm good. Lord ain't gonna accept that sacrifice. You gotta give that, you gotta display that truth out. And do everything else they tell you to do and increase as the time goes. But the diligent make use of everything they find. See, you can send me a video of a dead bird. If I come out with a precept, which I have before, I will. So, like, it says the way of the godly leads to life. That path does not lead to death. See, this is a path that we're on. This is a highway. Okay, this is a holy highway. There is no death on this path. There's not. There's not. Even for the ones of us that have to die for this truth, that's not death. That's actually life. Okay, because we die for the only thing that gives you, I don't know, a whole universe. That's not death. That's initiation. That's why I said you got to be a man. You got to gird up your loins like a man. Because only a man's gonna be able to face something like that. A man of the Lord. But this said even men out here will be as women. So you got to be a man, okay, of the Lord. There's a difference. Say a man of the Lord is 10 times stronger than 10 men out here. So Proverbs chapter 26, verse 30. And this reads, a slothful man saith, there is a lion in the way, a lion in the streets. As the door turneth upon his hinges, so doeth the slothful upon his bed. See? It's not good to be a slothful man in this truth. So let's look it up in the NLT. It says, it claims, there's a lion in the road. Yes, I'm sure there's a lion out there. As the door swings back and forth on his, so as a lazy person turns over in his bed. Lazy people take food in their hand and don't even lift it to their. Yeah, it said lazy people take food in their hand but don't even lift it to their mouth. You see what I'm saying? That's what he feels like when you claim to love the Lord and you're not edifying the flock on a daily basis. When you can. But there's some brothers, they got kids, they got wives, so maybe they might, maybe miss a day because they had a lot going on. That's different. Those are captivities, and he gives us a certain measurement of faith we're supposed to have. But if you single, you ain't got no kids, let's say and don't got no kids. Hey man, you're not doing this at least one video a day. I'm not saying that you doomed. I'm just saying pray to God to give you that strength, to give you that tenacity to get off your ass. Never gonna say somebody doomed. Because I don't even know if I'm gonna make it. I'm not gonna just say somebody doomed. Unless they Esau, Edom, or the other 16 nations. Say, oh, your ass is fucked. But if you Israel, you always got a chance. Okay? Until the famine of the word comes and he cuts out the truth. the world, you know. So this is it's my last precept. 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 8. And that's all I'm saying. It says we can never do enough for the Lord. We can never do enough. We can never do enough. But we know that doesn't mean you just go and just make videos and say whatever. You want to prepare them like a meal. You want to have your carrots and your vegetables, you know, your wine on the side, and you got to have your steak well done. It takes time to make a well done steak. You don't want to give them a steak, so you got to come and think about what you're going to put out there. You know, because ultimately you're guiding people's lives. I'm not going to just give you a plate with a whole bunch of corn on it. It's going to be a full course meal. It's going to have a whole bunch of dishes. So 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 8, and it reads, but if any provide not for his own, and for those of his own house, who's his own house? You, because you're your own house. That's what it says in this Yahawashi, which is his body. And then the house of Israel, the sheep, the flock, is the Lord's house, you know, starting with his men, you know, because you never know, you can make a video and then help a brother that's in his flock. It says Ezekiel 34, verse 31, my men, my pasture is a flock of men, you know, the flock as well. The whole 144% of the men, 144,000 men are still part of the Lord's flock, and they still need to be built up too. And how do they get built up? By them being leaders and seeing people follow them, because those who come to them, what they've been doing, and have the same faith, it'll bring comfort to them. Why? Because the Lord promised them that come up and start doing what they said do. So that means that they know they're doing right. So it says, like it says, for it denied the faith, and is worse than an infidel. See, you person, you don't want to be that person. You don't want to be that person. You know, and just to go down to 12, it says, let not a widow be taken into the number under 60, having been one wife of one man, and basically we're the wife of Yahawah, you know, or not, we're the wife of Yahawah by Yahawashi. And we're supposed to, when we read stuff like this, we're supposed to act. Salaki in my screen. We're supposed to act like this towards Yahawah by Yahawashi, and our wives are supposed to act like this towards us. Order, and nobody gets fucked. Nobody gets fucked over. That's why it's got to be followed just like this, to the best of our ability. So it says, having been one wife, been in the wife to one man, and that man that will shine, well reported of their good for good works. See, reported, well reported. You're supposed to be on it. If she have brought up children, if she have lodged strangers, if she have washed the saints' feet, she have relieved the afflicted, diligently followed every good work. Let's talk about what? That's us. You know, because when I think about it, I don't think about the woman behind me. I think about, like, that's supposed to be how I'm supposed to be for Yahawashi. It says, seek your own salvation with fear and trembling. But the younger, them young things, refuse. When they have begun to wax wanton against the Mashiach, and they have begun to wax wanton against the Mashiach, and that's also pertaining to the young men too. They be on that boo. They will marry having damnation because they have cast off their first faith. See, well, it's true, and so fear. That's all that matters. Okay, and everything else gonna work because this is the blueprint to how to be. You know, through our captivity. You know, so Lord willing, this is edifying to the flock, Israel to the hopeful elect of Israel. Hebrew Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indian, Haitian, Lights, and scattered across the four corners of the earth that look like the other nations. Got to give all praises to Barak, Yahawah, Barak, Yahawah, Barak, Yahawashi, Barak, Yahawah, Barak, Yahawashi. Got to give all praises to Bahasham, Qadash. I'm going to give double honors to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone. Led me to this truth, give, repent, pray, fast. Show forth the Lord's righteousness and mercy, judgment, forgiveness, and wrath to all those who are part of the OK-LA. Lord willing to be part of that number. Lord willing to be edifying to those who fear the name of the Lord and the striving to show forth. Salakia. Lord willing to be part of that number, and Lord willing to be edifying to those who fear the name of the Lord and the striving to show every day to the best of their abilities. The judgment always comes to light. Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 5. And it's not slack. So, walk above the ball. They prayed up. Keep the faith. Keep the faith and know that put this first before everything. Okay? And everything else, put in this order, and it'll be righteous in the name of Yahawashi. Shalom.